As we entered Hardwar, about a day's journey from the city, we stopped at the home of an American whom we call Weldon. He gave us a hearty welcome and insisted upon our remaining with him for a few days. Weldon, a well-known writer who had lived in India for many years, was in sympathy with and deeply interested in our work. He had asked several times to join our party, but circumstances had been such that we could not include him. As we sat in his garden next day, relating our experiences, Weldon suddenly remarked that he had never fully accepted the authenticity of the history and life of the man called Jesus of Nazareth. He had studied available records carefully, but they had all seemed vague and lacking in conclusion. Finally, he had given up in despair, as there were very grave doubts in his mind that such a character existed. Our chief asked him if he were brought face to face with this man, did he think he would know him, and how would he recognize him? Weldon replied, "You have touched upon a subject that has been the greatest motivating ideal of my whole life. You will never know the absorbing interest with which I have looked forward to some sign of actual truth of the man's existence in bodily form upon this earth. Each year my doubts have grown stronger until I have despaired of ever finding a trace that I can place full confidence in. However, there has always been something away back somewhere that I might define as a vague thought or ray of hope, that sometime, somewhere, if I could meet this man face to face without a suggestion from outside sources, I would know him positively. Instinctively this thing wells up before me, and I say this to you. I have never before voiced it. I know I would know him. This is the most sincere feeling I have ever experienced, and if you will pardon me for the repetition, I will say again, I know I would know him." That evening, as we were preparing to retire, our chief came to us and said, "You all heard the conversation regarding the man Jesus this afternoon. You recognize the sincerity of our friend. Shall we invite him to go with us? We do not know, or have we any way of determining whether this man that is known as Jesus of Nazareth will be at our destination. We cannot check his movements. In fact, we only know that he has been there. If we invite Weldon to go and the man is not there, will it not result in further disappointment and serve no good purpose? Weldon seems anxious to go with us, since none of us know that this man Jesus will be there. There will be no suggestion from any of us in any way. In this, I think the time is auspicious." We all agreed. The next morning, our chief invited Weldon to accompany us. Instantly, his face lighted up with anticipation. After a moment's reflection, he said he had an assignment for the following Wednesday and would be obliged to return by that time. As this was Thursday, he would have 6 days. Our chief thought the time sufficient, so we decided to leave that afternoon. We went well, and we reached our destination before noon of the second day. As we arrived, we noticed a group of 12 people sitting together in the garden of the lodge we were to occupy. As we approached, they all arose, and the owner of the lodge came forward to greet us. In the group, we saw the man Jesus standing. Before anyone could say a word or make a suggestion, Weldon had stepped from our midst, with both hands extended, and with a joyous exclamation rushed forward, clasping Jesus' hands in his, saying, "Oh, I knew you, I knew you. This is the most divine moment of my whole life." When we realized what had taken place, there was something akin to divine joy that swept through us as we beheld the rapture of our friend. We stepped forward and exchanged greetings as Weldon was introduced to the group. After lunch, while sitting in the garden, Weldon said to Jesus, "Won't you talk to us? I have been waiting a lifetime for this moment." There was silence for a few moments. Then Jesus began. In the silence of the hour, I would have you know that the Father to whom I speak and who dwells within me is the same loving Father who dwells in all and to whom all can speak and know just as intimately as I do. A breath of wondrous glory sweeps across the chords that vibrate with a life pure and divine. It is so pure that the waiting silence stops and intently listens. The fingers of the great and knowing one of yourself touches your hand with lingering softness, and the voice, as always, is telling you of the Father's great and glorious love. Your voice is saying to you, I know you are with me, and together you and I are God. Now the Christ of God stands forth. Won't you erase every limitation and stand with me in spirit? Greater thoughts have not been given than these I give unto you. It does not matter that men say it cannot be. You, each one of you, are standing forth, the divine Master, conquering and in full dominion, just as you have seen me conquer. The time is here. The fulfilling pure thought that you have sent out to the divine Master has come to fruition in your own body, and the soul has taken complete command. With me you soar to heights celestial. We lift these bodies up until their shining radiance becomes a blaze of pure white light, and together we have returned to the Father from whence we have all come forth. God our Father is pure light emanation, and from this vibrating light all come forth. In this vibration all stand together with God. In these vibrating emanations of light all material consciousness is erased, and we see creations projected forth from the formless into form, all things renewed every instant. In the primal cosmos, aqueous or God substance, all things exist. Because of that existence, the vibrations are so high that none perceive them. Unless one stands forth in spirit as we do, it is necessary to raise the vibrations of the body to spirit vibrations. Now we can see creation going on all the time, as creation is caused by the radiation of cosmic light vibrations generated in the great cosmos. And this radiation is the great universal life or light energy that sustains all and is called the Father of radiation or vibration. It is the Father of radiation because its radiation will shatter any other radiation or vibration. In reality, it only sets them aside in order that other forms may take their place. When our body vibrates in tune with spirit vibrations, we are light vibrations, the greatest of all vibrations, God the Father of all vibrations. It will soon be proved that these cosmic rays constitute such a terrific bombardment that they are destructive of so-called matter. These rays are from the source of all energy, the Father of all elements, the source from which all elements come. This is not destruction. This is transmutation from so-called matter to spirit form. It will soon be known that these cosmic rays have such tremendous penetrating power that they penetrate through all mass, shattering, as it were, the very heart or nucleus of a so-called atom, transmuting it into atoms of other substance, and thereby creating other elements of higher order. And in this way, creation advances into a higher emanation of pure light of our life itself. These radiations, which have such tremendous penetrating power, are readily distinguished from all radiations coming from the Earth or Sun galaxy, and have complete control over all these radiations or vibrations. It will soon be known that these radiations come from a universal source, unseen, and that the Earth is continuously subjected to a terrific bombardment of these rays that are so potent they change or transmute atoms of one element into the infinite particles of another element. It will also be found that when this cosmic ray strikes the nucleus of an atom, it does shatter it. It separates this atom into the minute particles of another substance, causing transmutation from a lower to a higher element. Thus, these radiations do not destroy matter, they transmute it from a lower to a higher element, from the material to spiritual. This higher element is as man dictates. It is higher as he names and uses it for a higher purpose. When man stands forth in spiritual vibrations, he can fully determine and regulate these rays and their mode of action.